friends and remain acquaintances. If I had to let Davy go, and I had made the judgment that the time had come for us to do exactly that, it was great to have somebody of Buddy Harrelson's stripe within our own organization to be able to take over.
I guess I'm supposed to say something. Obviously today I was very unprepared for what I thought was maybe just a little chat about the organization this morning. And like Davy, when I saw Frank this morning, who was not supposed to be in town, I knew that something may be happening, and it's to my benefit that they decided to ask me to be the manager, which I promptly accepted. I was also a little saddened for Davy, who has been a close friend, gave me an opportunity to come back to New York where I live and to work and to be his third base coach and then to be his bench coach and then to be his third base coach again this year. I think that showed that I was willing for this organization to help in any capacity which would be best for the organization. And it's been the judgment of this organization, I guess, within the last couple of days to decide to allow me to run the ball club.
Live from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Tonight, the Mets take on the Cincinnati Reds. Mets Baseball 90 is brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By Manufacturers Hanover, where your money has power. By Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met, it pays. By the 9X Yellow Pages. If it's out there, it's in here. By the Las Vegas Convention of Visitors Authority, the American way to play. And by RC Cola. Pitching for the Mets tonight, Bob Ojeda with a record of 1-2 and earned run average of 2.27. And on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds, Tom Browning with a record of 3-4 and earned run average of 2.67. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Tim McCarver. A very important day in the history of the Mets. Davy Johnson has been discharged as the manager of the Mets, and Bud Harrelson has been hired. He'll be the 12th manager for the New York Mets in their history. Bud just 1 week away from his 46th birthday. He was born on D-Day 1944. This might be like a D-Day for him as he takes over the Mets. Let's go down to Tim McCarver. He'll be talking with Bud.
All right, Ralph, thanks a lot. Buddy, is a dream come true overdoing it?
No, I don't think so. You know, you played Little League and you were too small, and then you got a chance for the Mets, and then you retired and you came back as a coach, and I think the next thing other than dying in your own arms would be to manage the Mets.
Last year, when Cito Gaston took over the job at the Toronto Blue Jays, we understand that the Blue Jays asked you for permission or asked the Mets for permission to talk with you, and you turned them down. Why?
Well, I told them I wasn't, I didn't want to leave New York, that I was very happy with my job, and that I didn't want to tell them I couldn't speak French, but I was very happy in New York. I really didn't want to leave New York. I was very choosy, and maybe I was killing my chances to ever manage, but here I am, and apparently I made the right decision.
Any changes you're going to make?
I don't know yet. The lineup's the same as last night, Bob Ojeda pitching, and I may play with a batting order a little bit later on, but not for a few days.
Did you talk to Davey after his dismissal?
I did. I saw Davey. I went to his room. All the coaches did, and we talked. We reminisced and thanked him for all the wonderful years and all the knowledge that he gave us all. And he seemed a little relieved that the pressure was on in New York. He was going to his daughter's graduation, both of his daughters graduated, one from high school, one from college, and he was going to go fishing and play golf. So maybe by Friday we'll wish we were with him. I don't know.
Davy Johnson out, Buddy Harrelson in. Now let's go back to Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Tim, In 1982, Bud Harrelson was a coach at first base for the New York Mets. In 1984, manager of the year at Little Falls and A-Ball, champions of the New York Penn League. 1985, he was managing at Columbia, Class A League, and then was called up by Davey Johnson to be a coach for the New York Mets and has been here ever since. 12th manager for the Mets, and we're getting underway here. Tom Browning on the mound with a record of 3-4, an earned run average of 2.67. And his first batter will be Greg Jeffries. And as the game gets underway, here's Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph, Tom Browning. Well, I tell you, it's a long way from down on the field, and it gets longer, too, the older you get.
The elevator is awfully slow, isn't it?
No balls, 2 strikes to Greg Jeffries. Browning, 3-4 on the year, a 2.67 ERA. He has pitched well recently. His last 5 games, a 1.99 earned run average, but he's 0-2. So the Reds have not been scoring for Browning. Down the line, a fair ball. Jeffries didn't run. But had he run, he would have been out anyway. I think Greg wanted to become an umpire then.
He
One
thought
out.
the ball was going foul on the ground ball, but it's whether or not it crosses the bag on a ground ball, and the umpire at third base, Paul Runge, motioned that it was a fair ball, and Jeffries not out of the batter's box.
Other batter, Keith Miller, with 1 out. He wanted to bunt. He takes strike 1. 0-1 to Keith Miller, entering the game batting .260, and since coming off the disabled list back on the 16th of May, he has played 6 games over which he has batted .286. Foul back, still 0-2. So Browning has not yet thrown a ball.
Browning, a fast-working pitcher. He pitched the 2 fastest games of the year last year, both under an hour and 50 minutes.
Low, ball 1. 1-2 to Keith Miller. Foul back, still 1-2. Browning from Casper, Wyoming, 30 years old, a number 9 draft choice back in 1982. Last year he was 15-12 and led the National League in games started. He started 37 for the Reds last year. Screwball fouled away, still 1-2. You know, Browning works so quickly. He allowed only 7 first-inning runs last year, and you have to wonder if hitters are really ready for a guy who works as rapidly as Browning. Ready for him in the first inning.
A little like Jim Cott.
Did he go too far? Yes, sir. First strikeout for Tom. 1 out. Make that 2 outs. And let's go over the rest of the lineup, Ralph.
Well, after Miller, it's Tim Tuffle playing third base, batting third, batting fourth in left field, Kevin McReynolds, batting fifth, playing right field, Darryl Strawberry, batting sixth, the first baseman, Mike Marshall, the seventh batter, the shortstop, Kevin Elster, batting eighth and catching Todd Hundley, and the pitcher, Bob Ojeda, batting ninth.
So Tim Tuffle steps in. Howard Johnson given a night off tonight. He was scheduled to have last night off. The Mets were rained out for the 3rd time this year. And Tuffle, who pounds Browning, takes a fastball inside. And that's predictable because if a guy hits Browning well, you better expect fastballs in.
Howard Johnson against Tom Browning, 2 for 27 in his major league career.
This one deep to left, and it's a home run, Tim Tuffle.
Well, Tim Tuffle wearing Browning out. His 16th hit and 31 at-bats against him in his major league career. His home run, his 4th off of Tom Browning, and Tuffle continues to master the slants of Browning. That is the 6th home run given up by Browning this year. And for Tim Tuffle, his 2nd home run of the season.
I talked to Browning before the game around the cage. He said I could bounce a ball up there and Tuffle would hit a double. Well, Tom was wrong.
He didn't bounce it.
No, he hit a home run, not a double. Strike 1 to McReynolds. 1-0 Mets.
Should have bounced it. He'd be on second.
By the way, we plan on having Frank Cashion in the booth in the bottom of the first inning this evening to answer questions about the dismissal of Davy Johnson. So Frank will be with us in the bottom half of this inning. And the screwball misses. 2 balls, no strikes to Kevin McReynolds. Tim Teufel's second home run of the year puts the Mets on top 1-0.
Browning has tried everything against Teufel. He's actually thrown at him. They've had a fight at the mound. It's been all Tim Teufel.
This one lifted to right field. Well, the pillaging just starting, Buddy Harrelson hopes, but for Tim Teufel, it's continuing off Browning. 1-0 New York, and we'll be back right after this from Metropolitan Life. Primarily out of the bullpen. His last win against the Reds, May 7th, 1988. Ojeda on the mound. And Chris Sabo wanted to bunt. Sabo, the third baseman for the Reds, batting .325. One nothing New York, predictably a home run by Tim Teufel, who just gobbles up Tom Browning alive, and a bunt attempt will be allowed to roll foul. 1-1 to Sabo. Well, we booth, and Frank, if there is one thing that led to the firing of Davy Johnson, what was it?
That would be difficult to pinpoint. I have really felt like the ball club's attitude has not been what it should be over the last, you know, through the last part of last season and certainly in the first part of this season. But I hasten to point out that when you leave a, you know, dismiss a manager, you cannot put all the blame on his shoulder. We all have to bear part of that blame. The ball players, the general manager, the administration of the ball club.
Ball and a strike to Chris Sabo. 1-0 New York. The change-up, swinging a foul tip, a ball and 2 strikes to Chris.
What I want to know, Frank, is when you were working with me in San Diego, we could have had the best scoop in town if you'd have used that right then.
It's funny, Ralph, but I really did make up my mind on the West Coast that I was going to make a change. Came back and talked to our people in New York, and been wrestling with the problem ever since.
When did you make up your mind, Frank?
Sometime during the West Coast trip. I had about an hour and a half when Davey and I had a chance to chat, and after that chat, I decided I was going to go in another direction, as we say, in the game.
Still 2-2 to Sabo.
Baseball's a lot like life, as you all well know. There's a lot of similarities to it, and it's funny, as one man exits, as Davey exited today, another man comes through the door, and that's Buddy Harrelson. And Buddy has all the ingredients to be a good major league manager. And we hope him, you know, we certainly wish him the best.
Change, drill the left center in is Miller, 1 out. And we'll take a look at the rest of the Cincinnati Reds lineup as Buddy Harrelson in his first game has a 1-0 lead.
Batting second and playing center field, Billy Hatcher. Batting third, the shortstop, Barry Larkin. Batting fourth in left field, Eric Davis. The fifth batter, the first baseman, Todd Benzinger. Batting sixth, playing right field, Paul O'Neill. The seventh batter, the catcher, Joe Oliver. Batting eighth and playing second base, Luis Quiones. And Tom Browning, the pitcher, batting ninth.
Billy Hatcher now the batter, obtained from the Pittsburgh Pirates by the Reds, and what an addition this young man has been. Ball 1.
Frank, you said in the press conference that Buddy Harrelson was the quintessential Met.
That's true, I did. Buddy has been in a Met uniform for almost 2 decades, which is, you know, almost as long as the Mets been in existence. 13 years as a ball player. He's been a broadcaster, which gives you all hope I'm supposed to become manager someday.
No
Please,
thanks.
no thank you.
And 6 years as a coach. I have always felt, in viewing the Mets from afar in the 60s and the early 70s, that if Tom Seaver was the heart of the ball club, that Buddy Harrelson was the soul of the ball club. He played every day. He was the leader. He was the shortstop. He kind of made the engine go. And I've always admired him for that, and I think that he can shovel some coal in and get our engine started now.
2-2 to Billy Hatcher. 1 out, 1-0 New York, and this one cued away. Still 2-2.
The record of the Mets at this point in the season, They're in 4th place, 6 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates with a 20-22 record.
Foul back. And right below us.
I said to the ball club, and I did address the ball club today and talked to them for about 5-7 minutes, after which I left and Buddy talked to them for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I said to our ball club, I thought we were a week of solid play from being back in contention. And I do feel that way.
Buddy Harrelson quite candid with me as to what he said when he talked to the players. He said that basically, and I'll paraphrase what Buddy told the ball club tonight before the game, we're a good ball club playing poorly. You share those views, Frank?
I absolutely do. I think it's an underachieving ball club. We can use a lot of words like motivation and dedication and passion and intensity. What I said to the ball players, I thought for the most part they had lost the fire in their bellies for victory, and that they had to focus, refocus.
Curveball is high, 3-2 to Hatcher.
I don't want to interrupt the play here. I told them that the thing they should do is get up sometime in the next 24 hours and look into the mirror and make a decision. Am I really part of the solution, or am I part of the problem?
Tapped foul, still 3-2.
And that if they do that and give themselves a realistic view of what they see in that mirror, that we will be a better ball club. And I think we will.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Billy Hatcher, 1-0 Mets here in the bottom of the 1st inning. And the change is low, so Hatcher, a base stealing threat, is on at first. Billy with 11 stolen bases in 13 tries on the year, and the Reds a running outfit.
They have stolen 64 bases and have an 81% success average in stolen bases this year.
And the batter, the multi-talented Barry Larkin, homegrown product from Moeller High School here in Cincinnati. Fastball is low, ball 1. Ken Griffey Jr. got a shot at being the most valuable player in the American League if he continues at his pace, a torrid pace.
He does.
1-0 to Larkin. Sammy Perlazo over at third base. Tony Perez at first. Ball 2, 2-0. Now, sometimes we took a look at, of course, that's a great Tony Perez. What a career he had. But sometimes an exit, like in Sammy Perlazo's case, can be the best thing. Here he's with one of the hottest ball clubs in baseball, and he was fired from the Mets last November. Foul back right below us, 2-1. So you never really know.
No, you don't. I'm a firm believer that everything in life happens for the best. I so said to Davey today. Davey was, to a degree, almost relieved that it was now over and he was going on to other things. I think he's been under the gun for some period of time. I have been his biggest defender, I suppose, but I think Davey knew it was coming.
Strike 2, 2-2 to Larkin.
Davey has another year in his contract.
Yes, he does. He has another year. He'll make $500,000 for fishing and playing golf and doing some other things. But I suspect after he gets around to next year, he'll be anxious to get back into the ball yard.
Do you think that would include another major league managing job?
I don't see why not. He certainly has had the most successful career of any manager in the Mets history, and his won-loss percentage over 1,000 games, which he manages, right up there with the top people in baseball.
It's .589. He's tied for 4th in the all-time list with John McGraw, but McGraw managed 33 years.
It's still pretty good company that you wouldn't want to brush away when you talk about John McGraw.
2-2 to Barry Larkin. And this one ripped foul. Still 2-2. 1 out, 1 on, 1-0 Mets.
There's Davy's percentage as manager of the New York Mets in 6+ years. And Frank, you made a statement that Al Davis once made when we were off camera or off the audio about managing football teams.
Jammed is Larkin. Great play. Ojeda to second for the lead runner. Oh, what a play by Bobby Ojeda. 2 outs.
I'm sorry, Ralph, what was that remark?
I think Al Harrison made that remark, Ralph.
The remark about the fact that
Al
you
Davis.
can manage too long in one place. As we look at this play again, good job by Ojeda to get the lead man and pick up an out.
Yeah, you know, that is a subject of a long discussion, maybe on the airplane back. But that's becoming more and more evident in sports today to me, that after about 5 years, it becomes difficult to keep managing the same people.
And to continue with the same enthusiasm and fire in the belly, as you say?
Absolutely. I absolutely feel that way, and Al and I have talked about it and discussed it, and I don't think it's any knock on the people it happens to. I see coaches in the NFL who have that problem, and certainly some managers within baseball.
Tap towards short, an easy play for Elster, over to Jeffries for the 3rd out. The Mets lead 1-0 after 1, along with Ralph Kiner. And as you probably know by now, Davey Johnson replaced by Buddy Harrelson as the manager of the New York Mets here in the 43rd game of the 1990 season. Strawberry fouls it back, 1-1 to Darrell.
Davey has some present business to do. His daughters, Dawn and Andrea, are both graduating, one from Rollins and the other from high school.
Ball and 2 strikes to Strawberry. Slider misses outside, 2-2. Fly ball left field. Davis still can't get used to seeing Eric Davis, a Gold Glover in center field, playing left. And Lou Piniella said, and by the way, we have some comments from Lou Piniella that we'll try to fit in sometime during this ball game about the firing of Davey Johnson and managing in New York. And Eric Davis will return to center field when the Reds go on the road, because they play on the natural surfaces of San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego.
He's just off the DL with some problems, and they don't want him to run as much as you would have to run in center field.
Those fragile knees of Eric Davis, similar to the knees of Joe Namath. Great talents, both, but bad knees. It's 0-2 to Mike Marshall, who entered the game batting .226. 4 home runs for Mike. Interesting comments, you alluding to the remarks by Al Harrison made by Al Davis, saying that 10 years as a coach in the National Football League is too long. Slider inside, 1-2. When you think about it, John Madden coached around 10 years. Tom Flores coached around 10 years. 1-2. And the screwball foul back, still 1-2.
Well, it is interesting that things have changed so much that when you're with the ball club a while, it seems that familiarity breeds contempt. And I don't mean it that strongly, but you lose something in there where when you have a new manager, have that desire and fire.
There are certainly exceptions. Walter Alston managed for 23 years, managed the Dodgers. It's 2-2 to Marshall.
But he was there before the free agency thing. I think it's a little different now when players have the safety of several years on their contract, to the fact that they can go somewhere else and play ball on their own volition.
Okay, Tommy Lasorda of the Dodgers. I'll play devil's advocate. He took over the year of free agency in '76.
Well,
this is his 14th year.
He's another breed of cat, that guy.
Fly ball to Hatcher in center, 2 outs here in the second.
I think Tom Lasorda is as an enthusiastic manager as you'll ever find, and he hasn't changed in any degree from the day he took over, or from the day when he was a coach. He was always Dodger blue, and this is it.
Kevin Elster, okay. continuing the Devil's advocacy, what about Sparky Anderson? Now, here's a guy who, as a rookie manager in 1970, took the Reds to their first pennant in a long, long time in this ballpark, the first year of this park, and now here he is, his 21st year. He won with Detroit. He went to the other league, the only manager to win a World Series in the American and National League. He won in '84. He hasn't won since then. Or no, I guess 2 years ago he won the American League East. Sure.
And then lost in the playoffs.
Yeah, in '87.
But Sparky with great success here with the Big Red Machine. There's no doubt about it. And then he moved on. You would have thought he had a place for life here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, moved on, but in it, you know.
But did well.
Did well, yeah.
I think Davey could do well somewhere else, too. I think Davey's an outstanding manager.
Fouled off, still 1-2 to Elster.
It's not the onus of being a bad manager. It's a matter of fact, he certainly has disproved that assumption. He certainly has been an outstanding manager, never averaging 95 wins a year or something close to that, maybe even a little higher.
Screwball tapped towards short, but knocked down by Browning. Browning's glove was his enemy. An infield hit for Kevin Elster, and that'll bring up Todd Hundley. Sometimes you talk about third as a reaction position. Sometimes you don't want a pitcher to react too quickly.
Plus the fact you can get hurt trying to flag those balls down through the middle. And right there, that ball would have been an easy out if it had not been deflected.
Yeah, Larkin sucks that ball up. As it is, an infield hit for Kevin Elster. Todd Hundley, the batter, 1 for 18. A fine defensive player, up because of the injury to Barry Lyons. Ball 1.
Todd's one base hit coming as a right-hand batter. He's a switch hitter. 0 for 11 as a left-hand batter.
1-1 to Todd. Todd in his 10th day in the major leagues has a managerial change. I can relate to that. In 1961, Hal Smith had a heart attack. I come up from the minors, and the day I arrived at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, Johnny Keane took over for Salihimas. Sharply to third, Sabo to second for the force play. The Mets.
Well, it's a shame. You don't like to see anybody in this profession be fired, but it's part of the job. And when you sign a managing contract, you know invariably that sooner or later it's going to be your turn. Unless you're a Lasorda, maybe in Los Angeles, or Whitey Herzog in St. Louis. But the rest of us, it's a job where change is dictated at times, and there's nothing you can do about it. I feel bad for Davey. I thought he was an outstanding manager, and I thought he did a good job with the Mets organization.
So Lou Piniella on his thoughts of Davey Johnson's dismissal as the manager of the Mets for the game. It's 1-1 to Todd Bensinger. And boy, Lou Piniella, you talk about a change of cities, what it's done for him.
Interesting thing, he brought up Tom Lasorda and added Whitey Herzog in there about maybe a lifetime job. Whitey Herzog had the great line when he was talking to the former owner of the ball club, Gussie Bush, who is now dead.
Change up tap to Elster at short. 1 out.
When he was talking to Whitey Herzog about his contract, he said, how about a lifetime contract? And Whitey Herzog said, yeah, but whose lifetime, yours or mine?
Well, Lou hopes his is not a lifetime contract because he's on the first of a 3-year contract. He hopes to live many years past 3. Bob Quinn, the general manager of the Reds, coming over from the Yankees. Marge Schott, the owner of the Reds, got the George Steinbrenner's permission to sign Piniella, and here he is. And what a role they have been on. Paul O'Neill takes ball 1, and the numbers for Paul. Toward first. So Ojita's keeping the ball down very well. 4 of the 5 outs on the ground. 2 outs here. Joe Oliver now who has good power. He has 5 home runs. Batting .262, takes the change for strike one.
We're not talking about a pitcher that isn't a good pitcher. Browning's outstanding. He's 81 and 56 in his major league career.
He has pitched a perfect game also. So
Almost pitched a second
yeah,
one.
that's right.
Nobody's ever done that, and he was in the 9th inning when Dickie Thon got a base hit, leading off the 9th inning on a perfect game that he was working on at that time.
0-2 to Oliver. Outside, a ball and 2 strikes. As a matter of fact, Browning with the only perfect game in Cincinnati Reds history. And it has been gloried and long. Ever since 1876 officially. And the change gets Joe Oliver. The first strikeout for Ojeda. Still with left-handers. It's 0-1 to Ojeda, and he takes ball 1. 1-1. There's a strike, a ball, and 2 strikes. Seems like everything always happens in Cincinnati. You remember the Rose affair with Dave Pallone a couple of years ago, Ralph?
No, it was 1988 when Saski thought he had touched first base and Pallone said he hadn't. And Mookie Wilson scored from second on the ground ball throw by the shortstop Larkin, I should say, over to first base, and the Mets won that ball game. Franco was a losing pitcher in that game. Rose suspended for 30 days.
Second strikeout for Browning. 1 out here in the 3rd, and that'll bring up the no balls, 1 strike to Greg Jeffries. 1-1. Hit deep to left. A rope. This ball against the wall. Jeffries will have to hurry. Davis, a strong arm. Looking at the ball. And by the time his turn was taken at first, he missed his pace. 2 outs.
Well, you don't see this happen very often. Line drive off the fence and thrown out at second. 1 hop against the wall. Davis, who has an outstanding arm, fires a perfect strike to second base. Quinones has the ball in plenty of time, and Jeffries is out.
Ball and no strikes to Keith Miller. Our angle where our booth is, you could see Jeffries watching the ball, and by the time he tried to find out where first was, his turn was too wide, and he's an easy out at second. 1-1 to Miller.
If there's any solace in that base hit, it extends the city streak to 9 games.
2 balls and a strike to Keith Miller. The Mets on top, 1-0. Buddy Harrelson named the manager of the Mets. Davey Johnson fired this morning by general manager Frank Cashin, and Buddy, his first game as manager of the New York Mets. His contract extends through this season and next season, so he is by no means an interim manager. Off the foot of Miller, still 2-2.
And also another year, if the Mets want to exercise their option, he has an option for the 3rd year.
The Mets, not Buddy.
That's
yeah,
right.
Right. Well, Buddy Harrelson, one of the owners of the Dream Camp, right? Maybe this was his dream. Fantasy baseball coming true, right? Paul O'Neill makes the catch. The Mets don't score. It's 1-0. Sharp. He faces Luis Quinones, and the change is outside. 1-0 New York here in the bottom of the 3rd. Quinones from the lovely little city of Ponce, Puerto Rico. The fastball is low. 2-0. Did a good job for the Reds last year in only 340 at-bats. He socked 12 home runs. Good production. Inside, ball 3 to Quinones. Luis has no home runs this year, batting only .222. There's a strike.
See the ball now, Lloyd. Come on, Lou.
Last time out versus the Dodgers. Bob's first win of the year, giving up only 4 hits and 1 run through 6. Grounder toward third. Tuffle throws out Quinones. 5 in a row now retired by Ojeda.
It was his 16th hit and 31 at-bats against Tom Browning.
And here is Browning. And the fastball is low. 1-0 to Browning. Fouled off. 1-1 to Tom. We were racking our brains. Doesn't take a lot of racking, I might add, before the game, about managers who were hired during the season. First name that came to my mind was Bob Lemon. We believe it's a 1978 season. Strike to Browning 1-2. But you know, more recently, Joe Morgan in 1988. He took over for the Boston Red Sox, won the first 18 out of 19, and the Red Sox won the division that year, losing to Oakland in the American League Championship Series.
Looked like he was never going to lose a ball game for a while.
Yeah. Cito Gaston last year with the Toronto Blue Jays, taking over for Jimmy Williams. So the last 2 years, 2 clubs in the American League East it's worked for. As Browning down on strikeout number 2.
Phil Cavarretta replaced by Stan Hack in spring training.
Towards short. Elster will have to hurry, and he throws it away. And a base hit and an error on Kevin Elster, and errors in this ballpark by Elster are nothing new.
Well, he had his 88-game errorless streak stop when he made an error in this ballpark. That's the all-time record for consecutive games without an error, and he throws it away trying to pick up the out.
And you know, before that 88-game streak started, it was in this ballpark when Cal Daniels grounded to Elster back on July 19th of 1988. He made an error, and then last May 9th, Barry Larkin hit a ground ball to Kevin. He made an error, and here another error by Elster. Must be something about the Reds. He made 2 the last time Frank Viola pitched against the Reds. You're a good defensive shortstop when the errors stand out like that.
That's right. Count them right off the top of your head, so to speak.
So Sabo at second base. Billy Hatcher walked his first at bat. That, by the way, the first hit of the night for the Reds. Ball 1 to Hatcher. The Mets on top 1-0. Tim Tuffle's second home run of the year with 2 out and nobody on in the first inning. Ground ball to third. Ojeda has been sharp. The Reds pounding that sinker into the dirt. Only 1 out made in the air by Cincinnati. Still 1-0 New York on Kiner.
Okay, Tim, and Tim Tuffle will lead it off for the Mets. He homered his first time up, and he takes a pitch for a called strike. Tuffle getting his second home run of the year as he drilled one to left field in the first inning. And this time he hits it straight up in the air. It's playable for the catcher, Joe Oliver, and he makes the catch. So Tuffle now back to an even 500 against Browning, with his batting average standing at 16 for 32. This game is brought to you in part by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows, with over 2,400 flights a day. And by the New York Daily News, New York's hometown paper. And Kevin McReynolds takes the first pitch for ball 1. Reynolds flied out to right field his first time up. 2 balls, no strikes. Reynolds hitting .267 with 6 home runs, 23 RBIs. Batting in the cleanup spot for the New York Mets. And there's a strike. It's 2-1. And the fastball fouled back out of play. Browning's last 3 starts, no wins and 2 losses, an earned run average of 1.99 in 22 2/3 innings. Reds have just scored 3 runs none while he was in the ball game. And there's a base hit for McReynolds to center field.
I'll tell you, that swing right there was a perfect example of a hitter using his body on an outside pitch. There's no flailing with the arms on that swing. He drills it to right center. Watch the use of the body of McReynolds. You see how the top half of that body, boy, those shoulders turn, and he really drilled that ball to left center. There was no just an arm swing.
That's where you get your power, right there.
Your body.
Here's Darryl Strawberry flat out to left his first time up. And he pops it up into shallow left field once again. Eric Davis in left field. And he makes the catch. Incidentally, for Eric Davis, his birthday today. Happy birthday, 28 years of age. So now 2 men out. McReynolds still at first base, and the batter will be Mike Marshall. Marshall flat out to center field his first time up. McReynolds checked at first. The Mets have 34 stolen bases in 42 attempts.
Almost half of the stolen bases for the Reds. The Reds with 64, the Mets with 34.
And this ball hit hard to left center field. It'll be extra bases. And it bounces over the wall for a grounds rule double. And McReynolds will hold at third base. So Marshall with a hard double.
Excuse me, Ralph. Boy, did the Reds get a break there. McReynolds is going to score on that ball unless it caroms right back to Davis. This ball drilled to left center. If that ball could hit off the fence, it's not going to be one of those caroms that's going to shoot back to Davis. And because of that, with 2 out, I'm sure that Mike Cubbage, who will be the third base coach for the rest of the year, Greg Pavlik over at first base. So the Reds caught a break, and they will probably walk Kevin Elster, I would think. Todd Hundley only 1 for 19.
Even though Elster's hitting 173, he's hit with some power. 5 home runs, 18 runs batted in. His lifetime average against Cincinnati, 147 with no home runs. But Hundley over his head really in the major leagues as far as a batter is concerned right now, just turned 21. But they're going to take on Elster. This will be one of those things where they'll pitch him very carefully, and he come right in with a fastball and he fouls it off. He had his pitch there.
Had his pitch and fouled it back. See, there's a difference pitching around a guy with a runner at third base. If in the process of pitching around him, you end up throwing the ball by the catcher, a run scores.
And he comes back with an off-speed pitch and gets out in front with a 2-strike count. And there is Babb at first base.
Cubbage over at third, and we understand that the Mets will have a new coach on Friday. He will join, we don't know who he is, but he'll join the Mets in Philadelphia.
And this one is popped up on the second base side. Quinones makes the catch, and that retires a side, so the Mets leave 2 in scoring position on a single and a double. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings, the Mets won and the Cincinnati Reds nothing. Now here's a word from Delta Airlines. A beautiful day for baseball. Temperature at game time right around 70 degrees after rain all day long yesterday and into the wee hours of the night. Larkin takes the first pitch for ball 1. Larkin grounded into a force play his first time up. A good play on the ball by Ojeda as he picked up the force at second.
Doesn't it strike you as odd that Davey Johnson was dismissed the day after a rainout? I mean, after 6+ years of successful managing for the Mets, it came to an end the day after a rainout.
21st game lost here in Riverfront Stadium to rain since they moved in here. And it's 3-1 to Larkin. Larkin, the leadoff batter, followed by Eric Davis and Todd Benzinger. The 3-1 pitch popped up into shallow center field. Keith Miller, the center fielder. And he makes a catch. Good out for Ojeda.
Let's take a look at the Nissan National League scoreboard. The Dodgers and the Pirates, Texas, and a completed Toronto at Oakland, Milwaukee at Seattle, Cleveland at California later games.
Toronto taking over first place in the American League East. And Eric Davis takes it. Davis grounded into a force play his first time up. Came into this game hitting 185 with 1 home run. 2-1 the count.
That unusual Eric Davis style. Look where he holds his bat.
This one hit hard to right. It could be gone. It's gone goodbye. Tie ball game.
Boy, did he explode the bat head on that changeup on the outside corner. A rocket to right.
Fourth home run given up by Bob Ojeda this year, and it ties the game at 1 and brings up Todd Benzinger. Benzinger grounded out to short his first time up, and the fastball.
Further proof that it doesn't matter where you start. It's where your bat is in position when the ball's about 15 feet in front of home plate. That hitting area. All good hitters are about the same. Here it is again. See how he carries that bat so low. His hitch is down. Very unusual style, and you have to be awfully strong to hit like that. And he is.
7th home run against the Mets this career season. Eric Davis. He and Darryl Strawberry.
Out to right.
Yeah. Kind of twins in the way they go at it. They can hit it far. Basketball teammates, baseball teammates, and there's a base hit to right field by Benzinger. And it comes with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 4th. Benzinger hit his first home run in the National League against the Mets.
Benzinger going the other way. You could see he was just trying to keep that shoulder in there. Ojeda getting a lot of the Reds out the first time around with that changeup, and they're adjusting now. You can see it.
And Paul O'Neill, the batter, and he takes the first pitch for a called strike, which means that Ojeda will have to adjust his way of pitching.
How do you do that? You come inside more on right-handed batters. If they're going to go the other way, you jam them more.
And it gets by Huntley. That moves Benzinger down to second on the wild pitch. So the go-ahead run at second base.
Curveball. This ball stays down on Hundley, and he can't come up with it. See how it stayed down? Catchers are trained to keep that glove on the ground, and Todd coming up with the glove a bit. The ball staying down, and Ojeda has a wild pitch. Go-ahead run now on second, potentially.
O'Neill tough against left-hand pitching, hitting .319 with 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in this year. He takes the fastball. 2-1 the count. And the fastball in tight. 3 balls, 1 strike. And this ball hit to center field. Miller has room. Tagged up at second base is Benzinger, and he'll go over to third after the catch. So that puts a runner at third with 2 men out. And he brings up the catcher, Joe Oliver. Oliver struck out his first time up. Ojeda got him with a changeup. Oliver with 2 home runs against the Mets in 7 at-bats. His only hits against the Mets. Two of his 5 home runs this year against New York. And the fastball for ball 1. Reds have an unbelievable record when they have scored first. They did not score first in this game. They have won 23 of 25 games when they have scored the first run of the game. Ground ball to third. Tuffle has it. The throw retires the side. So the home run by Eric Davis ties it up. 2 hits in the inning. 1 man left at third in the score at the end of 4. The Reds 1 and the Mets 4. Now here's the Mets 1 and the Reds 1. Now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover. And Todd Huntley trying to bunt his way on. The ball is rolling into foul territory. It'll go as a strike. Huntley. And he swings through a fastball. Strike 2. Just turned 21 years of age. The son of Randy Huntley, an outstanding major league catcher. A ball call 1-2.
Funny you should cue me on that, Mr. K.
Just like
without
we had the
realizing.
script.
Yeah. Tell you about some father-son affiliations here in Cincinnati. You know, back in '70, we mentioned that the Reds won the National League East. Sparky Anderson's rookie year as manager. And you remember those players then? Pedro Borbon, Ken Griffey, Julian Javier played on that club. Lee May, there's Ken Griffey.
This one popped up in the shallow left center. Eric Davis runs off the shortstop Larkin. 1 away.
On that team, the 1970 Reds, were 6 players who have sons in professional baseball today. Pedro Borbon with the Braves, Class A. Ken Griffey Jr., of course, we talked about with the Mariners. Stan Javier with the Dodgers. Lee May Jr., of course, with the Class A Mets team. Brian McRae, the Royals AA team, and Pete Rose Jr. in the Baltimore chain.
Must be a place to play, huh?
Yeah.
Ojeda the batter. Bob struck out his first time up. 1-2 struck out by Browning. 1-1 game. 2-1 the count to Bob Ojeda. Bob has been up 4 times this year without a base hit. This one right back to the pitcher, Tom Browning. So 2 men away. And that'll bring up Greg Jeffries. Jeffries grounded out his first time up. His next time up in the 3rd, he singled 1 hop off the fence and was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. He has extended his hitting streak to 9 consecutive games, the longest streak in the National League this year, 12 games. And the first pitch is strike call. Browning pitching so fast that Jeffries not set, asked for time, and got it from Mike Winters, the home plate umpire.
You got to slow a pitcher down who works that fast.
One ball, 1 strike. One and two.
I don't think any pitcher in the National League challenges hitters more than Tom Browning. Here it is.
His pitching coach was Jim Cotton. He says that's the way to do it. This one down the right field line over is O'Neill, and he makes the catch, and the Mets quickly go out in the 5th. 1-2.
Go, and Buddy was the manager. This one tapped to Tuffle at 3rd. It's a 1-1 game here in the bottom of the 5th. Quinones goes on the ground ball, and now Tom Browning, the pitcher, the batter. Buddy filled in as manager of the Mets several times, but he was given the job through the 1991 season this afternoon. Davy Johnson fired. Strike one to Tom Browning.
Buddy had an interesting statement. He said when a manager gets fired, and that's when he was playing, he said he was embarrassed.
This one hit deep to left center. Miller's going to catch it, however. 2 outs.
He said that he was embarrassed because the manager got fired when he was playing behind a manager, because when a manager gets fired, the players aren't doing their job. That was a Bud Harrelson quote.
So it's up to Buddy to try to get the players to do their jobs. And that was one of the reasons for his meeting today. He said the primary premise of that meeting was, guys, you have not been showing up prepared to win. And I am telling you, when I am the manager now, and you better be prepared to win. And I don't think that's asking too much.
He also said we're going to enforce the rules that were in effect since 1984.
Deep to left, and the Reds have a 2-1 lead. Chris Sabo's 10th home run of the year. The Big Red Machine has returned to Cincinnati.
Well, Chris Sabo is a leader in 11 offensive departments in the National League, and right there he gets his 10th home run. He is a devastating player.
A leadoff hitter at that, out of the Felipe Alou mold. As it's ball one to Billy, make that strike one to Billy Hatcher. Curve, a bunt attempt, and it's foul.
Reds come at you all ways, bunting and home runs.
2 out, nobody on. Normally a bad play, but when you can run like Hatcher, you do have a chance of stretching that bunt single into really a double because of his speed.
11 stolen bases
Yeah.
in 13 attempts.
They call him Spuds. Chris Sabo. Boy, he is a favorite here in Cincinnati. They love him. They pleaded for him to play in the 1988 All-Star game. And he went in as a pinch runner his first year, 1988.
He was a write-in candidate on that All-Star game.
And most rookies are. You can't anticipate a rookie being on the ballot. Hatcher down, but the Mets trail. They trail 2-1 after 5. We'll be back in New York. 4 for the Reds, but 2 of those 4 home runs by Eric Davis and Chris Sabo. Tuffle has homered for the Mets. It's 2-1 Cincinnati here in the 6th. And Tom Browning's arch nemesis, Tim Tuffle, is the batter. Tim Tuffle is to Tom Browning what the Riddler was to Batman. Remember the Riddler, don't you, Ron? Screwball is low, 1-0. Arch nemesis.
But the Batman always won.
And we're not in Gotham City tonight. We're in the Queen City, Cincinnati. What a lovely job they have done in downtown Cincinnati. This one hit deep to right center. Hatcher back, playable. Miller tagging. Hatcher middle of the warning track, and a good base running play by Keith Miller, who almost broke his leg falling into second. 1 out.
Well, Miller did a great job in the bases. He was halfway to second when that ball appeared to him that it was going to be caught. He then ran as quickly as he could back to first to tag up, and then went down to second to pick up 90 feet on the out. Hatcher makes a catch on the left side, and by the time he can unwind and get going, Miller is at second base in scoring position. He represents the time run.
McReynolds now 1 for 2. Miller with 8 stolen bases, and he has stolen third 3 times. Good time to do it here. 1-0 to McReynolds. And Browning steps off. Mike Cubbage at third base. High, ball 2. If you're wondering why Cubbage is there, if you have joined us late and you haven't heard, Davey Johnson fired as the manager of the Mets. And Buddy Harrelson, in his first of what the Mets are hoping will be a long tenure as manager of the Mets. Strike 1 to McReynolds, 2-1. You also saw Greg Pavlik, the first base coach. And as we said earlier, the Mets will have another coach in uniform in Philadelphia on Friday. Sharply, great play, Sabo, and he nails McReynolds at first. 2 out.
Well, Sabo doing it on both ends, a home run to put the Reds up, and now a great defensive play to keep Miller at second base. This is a pretty good way, as you see it, on natural speed. A bid for a base hit, a diving stop, and then the quick throw to first base. Miller holding at second.
Strawberry has gotten under 2 pitches. He has flied to left twice, but he just missed both of those pitches. 1-0 to Darrell. 2 balls and no strikes. Miller at second with 2 outs. 2-1 Cincinnati here in the 6th. Ball 3. 3-0. On deck batter Mike Marshall. And the fastball inside. That is the first walk of the ball game, given up by Tom Browning. Ojeda has also walked 1. So the Mets with runners at first and second, speed on the bases, and Mike Marshall, who doubled a ground rule double his last at bat. And that turned out to be a break for the Reds, because had it hit the fence, then McReynolds would have scored. Fouled away. 0-1 to Marshall. McReynolds was on first base at the time, and he had a good jump from first, but it was a grounds rule double by Mike Marshall. No balls, 1 strike to Mike with 2 outs. Another screwball is low, 1-1.
Mets had a good chance to score after that double, putting runners at second and third in the 4th, but Kevin Elster popped up to second.
And he had some pitches to hit during that at bat. Another screwball fouled away, so Browning ahead of Mike Marshall, a ball and 2 strikes. The Mets unusually with 2 off days in a row, Wednesday and Thursday, and then they play at Veterans Stadium. Frank Viola against Pat Combs Friday night. Doc Gooden against Terry Mulholland on Saturday, and Sid Fernandez against Ken Howell on Sunday afternoon. We will carry the games Friday night and Sunday afternoon right here on WWOR TV. The slider, dangerous pitch to Marshall. 2-2 to Mike. It's dangerous because of the 3 pitches that Browning throws, that's the one you can hang, and he did hang it, but it was high.
Pop up. Pop it up. Pop it up. Pop it up.
Fastball is low. Did he go too far? Yes, as first base umpire Charlie Relaford. So Marshall down on strikes. It's 2-1 Cincinnati. Run in the fourth made it 1-1, and then Chris Sabo's solo shot in the fifth made it 2-1. Miller an easy play, 1 out.
Well, a big day on Wall Street on our American Express financial update. Dow Jones up 49.57 points. S&P 500's up 6.07. Gold is down 80 cents and silver down 7 cents. That's our American Express financial update.
Eric Davis gave himself a birthday present in the fourth inning. He is 28 years old, and we'll take another look at it.
Little change up low and away, and he just drills it in the right field. He has great power. There was no doubt about it.
Pitchers try to pitch Davis inside because of that unusual stance of his with his hands so low. 2 balls, no strikes to Davis. Change, tapped back to Ojeda, an easy play. 2 outs. At the expense of reaching, Mr. Kiner. In 1953, on this day, Mount Everest was conquered as Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and Tenzing Norgay of Nepal became the first climbers to reach the summit of the 29,000-foot Himalayan mountain. It may be stretching it a bit, but Buddy Harrelson has his own Everest to climb after taking over for the Mets today. Todd Bensinger. It may not be Everest, but it's at least McKinley, right?
Yeah, Butch McKinley, that's his name.
1-0 to Bensinger, who is 1 for 2 on the evening. 1-1. Was that stretching?
Well, not necessarily.
You don't sound
I
to
hope
it.
that mountain isn't that tough to climb. That's all I hope for Bud's sake.
Not Everest, huh?
Yeah.
Fly ball, deep right field. Strawberry, Miller converging, and it's Miller. The Reds go in order for the second time in this game. It's 2-1 Cincinnati, a rapidly moving affair. And we'll be back after this from a rapidly moving company, the United Parcel Service. Inning, and here's Ralph.
And the Mets are trailing 2-1. The first pitch to Kevin Elster popped up on the first base side. Bensinger, the first baseman, making the call and catch. So 1 pitch and 1 away. Elster with an infield base hit his first time up, 1 for 3 for the day. And that'll bring up Todd Hundley. Hundley 0 for 2 has hit into a force play and also flied to left field. Ron Darling on the bench next to Keith Sedrell, the strength coach of the New York Mets. With these 2 off days, the pitching rotation really messed up. And of course, they were rained out yesterday, which made it even different. Made it worse. Viola was scheduled to pitch tonight, but they stayed with Bob Ojeda. And Viola will go on Friday night against the Philadelphia Phillies. And the fastball fouled off. Strike 2 to Huntley.
Ralph, I'd like to say, as you see Ojeda on deck, we talked about on Sunday that it was out of frustration that Kevin Elster charged the mound. And it was by no means out of frustration, and we want to clear that up. The frustration wasn't the reason that Elster charged Greg Harris, the San Diego Padres right-hander. As you have probably read in the New York papers, Sandy Alomar, the third base coach, told Howard Johnson that the Padres were going to nail Elster. Johnson told Elster, and that's why he charged the mound. So no frustration indeed there. Guarantee if somebody tells me that, I'm going to do the same thing Elster did.
Well, it seemed that it was not apparent why he would go after the mound with the Mets in that situation. They were trailing in the ball game, but that message was passed on, and Elster went out there. And it seems that the Padres were unhappy with the Mets leading 11-0 in the ball game, and Elster swung at a 3-0 pitch.
On Saturday, yeah.
and he made an out on it. Joe Carter had the best answer. Why are they unhappy about Elster swinging at a 3-0 pitch? Let's get the game over. We're losing by 11 runs.
I saw that.
1 ball, 1 strike. He was doing us a favor.
Yeah.
Ojeda's going to stay in the ball game with 2 men out. If there had been a runner on, I'm sure they would have pinch hit for it.
But I told Kevin I would make that statement on the air, and we just clearing that up, because during the broadcast we said it was out of frustration because we weren't privy to what Alomar had told Johnson. It was during the game.
Yeah, we also did say that unless there's something that took
that's
place
true.
we didn't know about.
That's true.
And there was something that took place we didn't know about. That won't be left alone. That's going to happen. We're going to see some more action on
Oh
that.
yeah, next time those two teams meet.
And there was some writing about the fact that the players on the ball club were unhappy that the Mets didn't do something right then in the next inning.
Yeah.
And a ground ball to the shortstop. The throw to first base picks up Ojeda. So the Mets go in order for the 2nd time in this game, only the 2nd time, and the score at the end of 6.5 innings on the GE line score, it's the Cincinnati Reds 2, the New York Mets 1. And we'll return right after this message.
Out those trusty cameras, because it's time for the 1990 Kodak New York Mets photo contest. You can enter your Kodak pictures in any one of 4 categories. The grand prize winner will be named official Kodak Mets photographer of the day and will shoot batting practice and sit in the photo box during the game. Kind of a nice deal. Plus, 4 semifinal winners will have their pictures placed in the 1991 Mets yearbook. Look for details wherever Kodak film and batteries are sold or at Shea Stadium. The 1990 Kodak New York Mets photo contest. Enter today.
And the bottom half of the 7th inning, Bob Ojeda in the mound, pitching to Paul O'Neill, and the first pitch, ball 1. O'Neill 0 for 2 in this game. And the pitch back is hit in the air to deep center field, is playable though. And O'Neill flies out to Keith Miller in center.
Elsewhere in baseball, on our Nissan National League scoreboard, the Pirates are red hot, 4-0 over the Dodgers in the 5th. San Diego postponed at Philadelphia. The Giants and Cubs 1-1 in the 3rd inning at Wrigley. And St. Louis at Houston, no score in the 2nd.
Right here, the Reds leading 2-1. The batter is Joe Oliver. And he hits a line drive into left field, coming hard as McReynolds, and he makes a shoestring catch. A fine play for the out.
Fine play indeed by Kevin McReynolds. On the line drive hit by Joe Oliver. Good play.
So 2 quick outs, and Luis Quinones, as we look at it again.
We still haven't seen any gloves checked. Major League gloves.
That's right, not one time.
Yeah, not once. Haven't read about it anywhere.
New rule in effect that the gloves can't be longer than 12 inches.
Of course, you'll never see an infielder having his glove checked because they use smaller gloves than outfielders do.
And this ball fouled off, so they count 1-1 to Quinones.
Infielders use the smaller gloves, you may or may not know, because they need to get the ball out of the glove more quickly than outfielders. That's why their gloves are smaller.
And again, a foul ball. The smallest glove that I ever saw an infielder use in recent times, the one used by Joe Morgan, who played second base here for Cincinnati.
It was as small as he was.
That's right.
Hall of Famer this year, Joe Morgan. MVP for this Big Red machine in 75 and 76.
1-2 pitch, a fastball. 2-2. Johnny Bench, a member of that ball club, broadcasting the ball game here tonight for the Cincinnati Reds. Struck him out with a fastball. So a 1-2-3 inning. 7 in a row since a home run by Sable to put the Reds up in the score at the end of 7 innings of play here in Cincinnati. It's the Reds 2 and the Mets 1. Now here's a word from Busch Light. 2-1, and Randy Myers and Rob Dibble warming up with the bullpen for the Reds. They have been outstanding for the Reds this year.
These guys are nasty, aren't they?
The nasty boys. And the first pitch, a ball, and the count 1-1 to Jeffries, who pops it up down the right field side. Going over is the second baseman, Quinones, and he makes the catch.
Take a look at the Nissan American League scoreboard. The Yankees losing to the White Sox 4-3, that game in the third inning. Baltimore at Minnesota 1-1 in the fourth. Detroit at Kansas City, no score in the second. The Red Sox batting in the top of the first at Texas, Toronto at Oakland, Milwaukee at Seattle, and Cleveland at California a little later.
And now the batter is Keith Miller, and he takes the first pitch for a called strike. Miller with a single and 3 times up. Jeffries had singled in the third, was thrown out attempting to stretch it into a double. The ball off the fence. A great play on it by Eric Davis to throw him out. And Browning in high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets about hit the Reds 6-4, but the Reds about homer the Mets 2-1. And a ground ball to the second baseman Quinones, and he gets it over to first in a hurry. 2 men out.
Did you notice that pattern of pitching there? Strike 1, bust him off the plate, inside, and then throw the screwball. This guy can pitch.
81 victories in his major league career against 56 losses, and he's now working to Tim Tuffle, whose home run in the first has accounted for the only Mets run. And he moves him back with a fastball.
Here's the home run by Tuffle in the first to put the Mets on top. Now 2-1 Cincinnati.
And the pitch back, a called strike. It's 1-1. Tuffle also has fouled out and flied to deep center field. On the fly ball to center field, Miller, who was on first, tagged up and went to second. This ball hit the right. O'Neill is there. And the Mets go in order in the 8th inning. The score at the end of 7.5 innings. The Reds 2 and the Mets 1. And here's a word from Express Mail. In for the Mets, David Cone relieving Bob Ojeda.
Ojeda working 7 innings, giving up a couple of runs, both on home run solo shots by Davis and Sabo, and the numbers on David Cone trying to get on track. And the reason he's in there, as we explained before, the Mets with 2 consecutive off days, Wednesday and Thursday, and Cone will probably open at Chase Stadium against the Expos next Monday night. All right, doing the swim, one of your favorite dances, right? The lambada and the swim, right?
I'd like to swim better than the lambada.
More your style, huh?
Yeah, not quite as fast. Tom Browning, the scheduled batter for the Reds, as David Cone takes over his first relief appearance this year. Now we're going to have a pinch hitter for Browning. It's going to be Hal Morris.
8 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run in return, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts.
So Morris, the pinch hitter. And he hits the first pitch hard, but foul down the right side. Morris in '89 with the Yankees hit .278 in 15 ball games. He did not have a home run.
2 runs, both earned, 1 walk, 4
He was selected player of the year in the Yankee organization. At Columbus, he led the league in hitting at .326 with 17 home runs in 111 games. And he fouls the fastball back at strike 2.
Morris coming to Cincinnati with Rodney Imes for Tim Leary and Van Snyder.
And the 2-strike pitch. He checks on the swing, and it is not a swinging strike, according to Paul Runge, the third base umpire. And this one bounced through the middle. Elster over to cut it off. The throw to first base is just in time. And Morris is out.
Hey, it's very difficult to beat out an infield hit when you're a pinch hitter because you're coming off the bench. I bet you if Morris had started the ball game, he would probably have beaten that ball out. But when you come off the bench, your hamstrings are tight, your legs are tight. You really don't have any place to loosen up.
So one away on the close play, and Chris Sabo the batter. Sabo the man who put the Reds on top with a home run in the 5th inning, breaking a 1-1 tie. It was his 10th home run of the year.
And here it was. This put the Reds out on top. 10th home run of the year for Sabo back in the 5th inning.
His 3rd against the Mets in his major league career. He came into this game hitting 171 against the Mets. 2 for 3 in this game. They count 2-1 as David Cohn works for the Mets. And the fastball foul back 2-2. Bob Ojeda leaving the game after 7 pitched a strong game. Gave up only 4 hits, but 2 of them home runs. The other 2, Eric Davis, struck out 4 and walked only 1. And the breaking ball, 3-2. And his ball 4. So Cohn walks his first man, and he'll now pitch to Billy Hatcher. Hatcher has walked and is 0 for 2 tonight.
Reds really haven't had a chance to utilize their speed tonight, so it was Sabo at first and Hatcher up. Look for Sabo to be running. Certainly David Cohn expects that.
13 stolen bases in 15 attempts. Close play at first base. Reds lead the major leagues in team batting with a .286 batting average. With their 2 home runs tonight, they have 30. And the fastball. Strike 1 the count. Before Hal Morris had rounded out as a pinch hitter, the Reds pinch hitters were hitting .327 this year with 17 pinch hits. Everything is working for the Big Red Machine so far.
So what do you need with a machine, a Big Red Machine? You need power. They've got that. You need wheels. They've got that. What else do you need?
Need a driver, and they got that, it appears.
Lou Piniella. You need seats. They have that. A bench, as you just said. 17 for 53 now as pinch hitters.
And if you can go back far enough, you need a rumble seat, and they got that in the bullpen. Those guys rumble out there.
Nasty boys. They are a team that's really having fun, I'll tell you. They're good, they're loose, and they're winning.
And the curveball. A strike call. 1-2.
There's the driver you were talking about.
Reds with the best record in baseball, 29 wins, 11 losses. Lou Piniella.
It's funny, Marge Schott used to be in the car business. Here she is buying the Big Red Machine. She's the president and owner of the Reds and used to be in the car business.
And they got him. Picked him off at first base. Good move by David Cohn. Got him leaning.
Well, what would you call this? A lack of servicing. You got to keep your Big Red Machine well oiled, and I guess Sabo's got to work on his mechanics.
That's true. So now no one on, 2 men out. 1-2 count on Billy Hatcher. He fouls it back out of play. Hatcher, a great acquisition for the Cincinnati Reds.
Here's tonight's attendance figures. Paid attendance, 29,156. 29156. Total in the stadium, 32,445. 32445.
And again, it's fouled away. Hatcher acquired from Pittsburgh for Mike Rosler and Jeff Richardson back on April 3rd, and he has really been another cog in this machine, batting .331 coming into this game. 3-2 the count, and again a foul ball. And strike 3 call. So David Cone retires the side with his first strikeout, and the score at the end of 8 innings of play. It's the Reds 2 and the Mets 1, and here's a word from your Tri-State Lincoln Mercury dealers.
For information on how to get one, call the Leukemia Society at 212-679-1939.
Rob Dibble on the mound. What a job he has done. He's fanned 41 hitters in 25 2/3 innings this year. 5 saves to his credit.
And he is working to Kevin McReynolds as his first batter. Kevin 1 for 3 and robbed of a base hit by Sabo at third.
Don't say robbed with Dibble on the mound.
And a hard swing to miss. It's 1-1. Dibble has been clocked at 100 miles an hour. He was suspended at one point last year for throwing a bat on the screen after a base hit. There's a hard slider for a strike. He's called the officer. Wild swing and a miss. And another strikeout for Dibble. Randy Myers throwing in the bullpen for the Reds, and Dibble is out. He's done his job. He got the right-hander, and now it's going to be Randy Myers against the left-hander Darryl Strawberry. These guys have a bullpen. So while we have a minute here with a new pitcher coming in the game, here's a word from Sharp Electronics.
Relief.
And Darryl Strawberry, the batter. Darryl 0 for 2 tonight, hitting against his former teammate. The first pitch, ball 1. Randy tied for third in the National League in saves with 9. He's had 10 opportunities. His record 1-0 with 9 saves, a 2.35 ERA. He has struck out 32 batters in 23 innings, an average of 12.5 per 9 innings. Dibble has averaged 14.4 strikeouts per 9 innings.
That went up.
That went up. He struck out 1 batter that he faced. Norm Charlton, also a bullpen man, has averaged 12.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. The Nasty Boys.
They're appropriately named, all right.
They throw some heat. Strawberry swings through it. It's 1-2. On deck batter for the Mets, Mike Marshall. Ball call, so they count 2-2 to Strawberry. The Mets batting in the 9th, trailing 2-1. The Reds on 2 home runs, one by Eric Davis to tie it, one by Chris Sable to put him in front after Tuffle had given the Mets a lead. And there's another strikeout as Strawberry goes down, and the Mets are down to their last out. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets. solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Sterling Doubleday Enterprises LP and WWOR-TV is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, is similarly prohibited. Now the Mets down to their last out. Mike Marshall, the batter. Mike with a double and 3 at-bats. And the first pitch a called strike. Marshall with 4 home runs this year. One of them a grand slam home run. And again, the pitch back, and this one a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets about hit the Reds 6-4. But the Reds lead by a score of 2-1. And now Randy Myers picking up strike 2 in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Paid crowd of 29,196. Bud Harrelson's first game as manager of the Mets. The official manager of the Mets, and now the pitch. Struck him out. So Dibble, a strikeout. Randy Myers, 2 strikeouts, and the Reds win the ball game by a score of 2-1. The winning pitcher, Tom Browning, his record now at 4-4. He's 1-1 with the Mets. The Mets have beat him 5-0 at Shea Stadium. The losing pitcher, Bob Ojeda, his record now 1-3 for the year. Bob going 7 innings and a save for Randy Myers, his 10th save of the year. And in this 1-game series caused by a rainout last night, the Reds have won it by a score of 2-1. We'll be back with a wrap-up right after these words, the first from Tri-State Ford. Well, I'm Ralph Garner along with Tim McCarver, and the Mets losing their first game under Bud Harrelson. A brilliant ball game out here. They lost by a score of 2-1, and Tim, it was an exciting game all the way through, and it was just not enough hitting for the New York Mets.
Yeah, predictably a very quick game with Tom Browning and Bobby Ojeda on the mound. David Cone with the relief appearance, but it was the relief appearances by the Nasty Boys, Dibble and Randy Myers, with 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning. And the more and more you see the Cincinnati Reds, you've got to get a feeling that they're going to be playing an expanded season this year. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. You mean playoffs and possibly the World Series. Yeah. They are a very, very strong ball club. They won the ball game with home runs. The first by Eric Davis. It came on his birthday, and that tied the game at 1. The Mets had taken the lead with Tuffle having a home run in the first inning against Tom Browning. Nothing new for him. His 4th home run off Browning. And then the winning run of the game coming on a home run by Chris Sable.
But I think it was when you get a pitcher out there who works as quickly and can hold a team down like Browning did, then you've got a chance to win. And that's what won it for the Reds tonight, their pitching.
And Tom Browning, the Budweiser player of the game, as he was the winning pitcher in the ball game, his first victory over the Mets this year. He's now 1-1, and he went 7 innings, make that 8 innings, and then got help from that bullpen where they struck out the side in the 9th inning. Now here's a word from Busch Light.
Time a Mets player steals a base, you could win a new 1990 Nissan 300ZX. Just go to your participating Nissan dealer and enter the Nissan Stolen Base game. No purchase is necessary, and you must be 18 years old and a licensed driver to play. Nancy Bruner of Mays Landing, New Jersey, is now in the drawing for a new Nissan 300ZX. She entered the Nissan Stolen Base game at her participating Nissan dealer. Why don't you?
And the Reds winning by a score of 2-1 on 2 home runs, one by Eric Davis and one by Chris Sable. Mets getting their 1 run with Tim Tuffle hitting a home run in the first inning. Unusual for the Reds to win. It was their first win, I guess, in falling behind, only their 3rd win they have fallen behind in this season.
And first win for the Reds in that manner, but the first loss for Bud Harrelson, and that's the big story tonight. Bud Harrelson replacing Davey Johnson. And I guess he'll have 2 off days to think about it before the weekend series at Philadelphia this weekend.
Mets have a trip home to New York, and they'll have workouts, I guess, on the next 2 days, and then move on down to Philadelphia for the series. And Frank Viola will be the starting pitcher in that series against Philadelphia Phillies. First time the Mets have seen the Phillies this year.
And as is often the case, a lot of New York Met fans down at Veterans Stadium, and they'll have a chance to see Buddy Harrelson
as the New York Mets manager.
And now here's a word from Bush Beer.